Hey, crime fans!
Join us October 9th through 11th at
Crime Story Fest.
Crime Story Fest.
Crime Story Fest
At the Doubletree Hilton on Boston's North Shore, Danvers, Massachusetts location.
Crime Story Fest, all things crime and mystery festival.
Come visit us at Crime Story Fest.
What else you got going on? What, you gonna watch another documentary on Netflix? Come on down to Crime Story Fest. Enjoy yourself. Have a good time. Meet some of your favorite podcasters, authors, experts. This October, Boston, be there.
Hi, and welcome to Danny After Dark. If you're new here, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss a notification or a new episode. Tonight is the weekly True Crime and Chill. Mr. Beckham will be fashionably late as always, but in the meantime, let's get going because there's a lot to discuss. So, get a few administrative things out of the way first. So, if you are not following me here, make sure to subscribe. If you are not following me on social media, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, I have a page on Cameo, the Buy Me a Coffee page, the merch page. All of that information is down below. So check that out if you are not subscribed to all of the things. Other than that, a few events coming up soon. So next month, April, will be the Beyond the Crime Convention. That is the weekend of April 11th. So I will be there. I will have a booth as well as I'll be doing a live show. So I did finalize the topic for the show that I will be presenting down there. And yeah, I'm going to share it with you guys for the first time. So y'all know I am a bit of a psychology nerd. I mean, that's what I went to school for. So I really wanted to go over hybristophilia again because there has been updated research since I last did a show on it. And I really want to dive into that. And if you're saying, Danny, what is hybristophilia? Go back. Watch the episode because I totally nerd out over research. But in a nutshell, it is the psychology about falling in love with a killer. So I'm really excited to be talking about that at Beyond the Crime, as well as talking about the updated research on it. And it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I did a whole deep dive kind of study session, if you will, over last weekend. And oh my gosh, it's just, I'm so excited, so excited. I just find that so fascinating. So I will be presenting that at Beyond the Crime. So check me out there if you are in the area, as well as all the amazing other content creators that will be there. Check that out. At the end of May will be Crime Con, and I'm really, really excited for that. Again, it will be in Vegas. So if you are in the area and have been wanting to attend Crime Con, like, get your pass. Go have a good time. Beckham will be there as well. I do have quite a few girlfriends that will be on Podcast Row this year, and I'm so, so excited for them. And yeah, it will be just so much fun to be able to see my my true crime group chat, group of girls again. So stay tuned for that. And then, of course, you guys saw the little commercial that was just played for Crime Story Fest. That is going to be here in Massachusetts in October, which a part of me is thinking like, oh my God, that's so far away, but it's like really not. It is really not. So I will be super involved in that. So if you are in the area, like, come check it out. It's going to be the first. You want to be at the first one, the first Crime Story Fest. Are you kidding me? So you could say you're an OG because it's going to be an annual thing. So yeah, check it out. Get your tickets. Coming up in the pipeline, if you missed the show that premiered earlier this week, the interview I did with Dave Mack, that was part 1. Go back, check that out. Part 2 will be released sometime in the next few weeks, so stay tuned for that. But part 1, great introduction to who Dave Mack is and what he does. Part 2 gets into a little bit more specifics about him, about his life, and yeah, we have an amazing conversation. So stay tuned for part 2. Next week, if all things kind of go according to plan, because there's a few things that might be last minute. It's going to be a busy week, y'all. It's going to be a busy week. So stay tuned for a possible live interview on Tuesday. I'm being vague about that because it is all dependent on she is coming out with a book, and I want to be able to just share my platform with her to kind of talk about everything she needs to get across, which, y'all, it is like such a heavy conversation, but such an important conversation at the same time. I'm purposely being vague on who that is. So if all goes according to plan with her book launch, she will be on here Tuesday night. If not, we will have her on as quickly as possible to when her book launches. Next Thursday will be the rescheduled interview with my girlfriend Kylie from Primetime Crime. We were supposed to do an interview a few weeks ago, but she unfortunately got very sick last minute. So we've rescheduled for this coming Thursday. And I am so excited to have her on. Oh my gosh. I love Kylie. Like, the second I met her, I was just like, oh my God, like, where have you been my entire life? You are absolutely amazing. We're going to be best friends. So I'm really excited for you guys to meet her and then to hear about her podcast and all the amazing things that she does on Primetime Crime. So that will be live next Thursday. And then next Friday, same story, true crime and chill. So that's what we got going on. So let's see who's here and we can kind of go from there. Tony Stewart, I was ready. I saw your comment. I almost gave you a star for it, but then I knew you'd get mad. Yes, but I was early tonight. K-Dog, why are you early? You know, if that's not support, I don't know what is. Hope you're doing well, K-Dog. Renee, hello. Thank you for being here. I was hoping you would pop in the beginning so that we can plug what you got going on. Hey, Kane. Still brunette. Next appointment is in, I think, like 2 weeks. And yeah, no, my hairdresser already knows. She already knows. It was funny because when I told her, when I saw her the other week, I went with my sister for her, wedding, hair trial and all that stuff. She's using my girl. And I was just like, yeah, nope, we're going back to blonde. And she's like, I knew that was going to happen. I knew. I'm like, I still just, even though it's like my natural hair color, I'm like, no, it just doesn't feel like me anymore. I've been blonde for so long. Will I go as blonde as I was? I don't know, but we're going back. We're going back. Cause yeah, I look in the mirror and I'm like, no, I ain't a brunette. Not anymore. The cats are here. We got Selena up there. There were 2 of them on the tower, but they're roaming around. They just ate. So they are sufficiently up to date. And I think once like their stomachs settle, you'll just hear like rambunctiousness going on everywhere, is my guess. It's not even that cold, Danny. Beckham, calm down. It certainly is. Beckham is really, it doesn't apply if he's not on camera. Like, no, for all I know, his account got hacked and like the person was like, you know what? Let's give Danny her due here. Let's make sure we acknowledge that she's live. You guys are so insane. I love it though. I love it. No stars for me. I know that's how I keep you in line. I'll threaten to give you a star. We're here, James Watson like begs for stars. Which, okay, where is James Watson? Do we need to put out an SOS? I'm quite concerned. I am quite concerned. So, all right, I got to pull up YouTube because Renee, we need to shout out and love and support Renee. So Renee, for those of you who have a wrench, you'd be able to actually click on her name and it will bring you to her page. But if you, of course, I pulled up the wrong thing. Subscriptions, here we go. If you are not aware, Renee has a YouTube channel and it is so cool. And us being friends, we need to like and subscribe. Most importantly, subscribe to Renee's channel. I'm pulling up the link. Here it is. Here it is. Yeah, we know Renee. We love Renee. Let's support 100%. There is no true crime over there, which slightly breaks my heart. But no, I'm just kidding. Yeah, it's Renee Unraveled Knitting. So here is the link, you guys, and I'm going to star it. So yeah, again, everybody, Renee is amazing and we love her, and make sure to subscribe. Let's show her some love and support. Okay. And if anybody else, if you guys have a YouTube channel, even if you don't post regularly, or if you're like, maybe I upload once every few months, I don't care. That's amazing. Post your link in the comments so we can all share and all subscribe to each other's channels, because yeah, friends supporting friends, that's what we do. Absolutely. So again, this is the link to Renee's channel. Go give her a sub. And yeah, I will say I commented on one of her most recent videos. I'm obsessed with her decor, like where she films. I'm obsessed. Absolutely love it. So yeah, check it out. Check it out. Oh my gosh. No, do not thank me. Do not thank me. That is what we do here. So yes, everybody go subscribe to Renee. So I'm just so fortunate to know you, Renee. And like, I can be like, I met her. I met that YouTuber. Just kidding. So yeah, everybody subscribe to Renee. Show her some love. Okay, let's go ahead and dive in. But before we do that, Tony Stewart, I saw it come in. Did I open it? Oh my God, I worked later than I expected. Yes, I did. I scanned it. I didn't get a chance to fully read it, but I did see your email come in. So I am behind on that stuff. But I did see it. I will get back to you. I promise. But thank you. Thank you for that. It's a year-long project. That is so cool. No, honestly, like that is so cool. I have like the Liz, my girlfriend, the Liz, she knits, and I'm in awe because like, I just wouldn't be able to like do that, physically be able to do that, for many reasons. But also like, I don't think I have the patience. So like in the fact that, and I have some dancer friends that do that too. Like if we're like during show weekend, they'll bring their stuff and backstage they'll be knitting. And I'm just like, I wish I had the patience. Cause like some of the stuff they make is so cool. It's just so cool. And I'm just like, I wish I had the patience, but no, it's a cool thing. So the Liz will love your channel. Like Renee, 100%. She will love and totally vibe your channel. So yes, I will make sure. I've been like so beyond crazy busy this week. I haven't even been able to chat with the Liz as much as I normally do, which is like a crime. It is a crime, but yeah, she will be aware of your channel. I guarantee she'll sub to it. Guaranteed. So, all right. Let's jump in. So Beckham will be updating on Nancy Guthrie. But other than that, there's a few cases where I'm like, oh, it's always better if like Beckham's on board because like some of his reactions are like priceless. But let's start with one that we have not talked about here that I have been To say I've been following is an understatement. Deep diving is the better word. It's the better word. Because one, I think it's super important what is happening because it is another precedence being set. And what I mean by that is Colin Gray. If you are not familiar with who Colin Gray is, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. So what happened is he recently was found guilty, so Colin Gray, of 2 second-degree murder and cruelty to children charges in addition to 25 other charges. 25 other charges, so 27 in total, with the September 4th, 2024 shooting at the Appalachia High School. The thing is, he was not the person that did the shooting. It was his son, Colt Gray, and Colt is spelled Colt, and Colt is charged with the actual shooting itself. And again, why this is a precedence, because we just recently saw, I believe, was it summer of last year, 2025, where the Crumleys, the parents of Ethan Crumley, shooter Ethan Crumley, were sentenced for what is their role in providing him the weapons to be able to do the crime, as well as not providing the services that could have prevented it. So again, this is the second case of a parent being charged and convicted in a mass school shooting spree. So I will note that Colin's ex-wife, so Colt's mom, was not charged and was not put on trial, but there's a lot of reasons for that. So let's get a bit into the background, because again, we've not talked about this here. So one of the things that I actually found very, very fascinating during the trial was, so Colt's sister, so Colin's daughter, she also testified during the trial, but she testified against her father. She stated that she felt pressure to cover for him when she was being interviewed by investigators the day after the shooting. I mean, how damning is that, right? When Colin was asked if he saw any of the warning signs in his son Colt, y'all, what he said was mind-blowing, and I actually have the quote. He says, quote, "No, I struggle with it every day. I've never seen that video until yesterday." The video in reference is the shooting video. "You know, he's a good kid. You know, he wasn't perfect, nor was I. But to do something that heinous, like I don't know if anybody could ever see that kind of evil. Like the Colt I knew in relationship I had, there's this whole other side of Colt I didn't know existed. So no," end quote. Okay, let's keep that in mind. The prosecution laid out an amazing case, I have to say. It was a tough trial to kind of watch, but it was such an important one as well, because as you're watching it, you're like, warning sign after warning sign after warning sign that the father did nothing. And in fact, the father went in the total opposite direction. And we'll get to that. So Colt, it was described as a shrine in his bedroom. So when I say shrine, we're not talking Paulcast shrine, right? That's an OG throwback. But photos and pictures, like an obscene amount of things. Who was this shrine of? Colt had a shrine of the Parkland school shooter Nicholas Cruz in his room. Colin, his father, his thoughts on the shrine were, they were just pictures of maybe a musician figure, possibly a member of Green Day. Nicholas Cruz, Green Day. Okay. The biggest part of this trial, in my opinion, again, Colin allowed his son Colt to have access to firearms, including the weapon that was ultimately used in the shooting. The gun that we're referencing, Colin gave his son Colt as a Christmas present. So the son, Colt, was 14 years old at the time of the shooting. So the prosecution told the jury that Colin was criminally, negligent in giving his son, Colt, 14 at the time, access to firearms. Quote, after seeing sign after sign of his son's deteriorating mental state, his violence, his school shooter obsession, the defendant had sufficient warning that his son was a bomb just waiting to go off. And instead of disarming him, he gave him the detonator, end quote. That being read in the courtroom was so powerful. So powerful. There was so much that, like, I honestly was debating, like, should we just do a show just on this case? But I also don't want to give a school shooter and their family like that much of a platform and that much of a show. Again, the reason we're talking about this is another parent being sentenced and found guilty, and their part in this is a big deal. In the trial, we learned so much about so many of the other warning signs that Colin just very clearly neglected. And the buying of the gun was something that they were, quote, bonding over, which I know people might say, well, where I'm from, different part of the country, or maybe, listeners and viewers from other countries, it might not seem as a big deal for someone maybe 14 years old to be able to know how to shoot a gun and whatnot. Like, there's a difference between responsible parenting and shooting because that's a way to provide, or there's, depending on the type of land you have, if you're a farm owner or whatnot, there's a lot of variables where it's like, that makes sense. And when it's done responsibly, that's one thing. We're not talking about where it's done responsibly. Like, this was a very irresponsible way to bond with your child who was in a lot of trouble. The school had flagged things. So many times we see that there were warning signs that school teachers, administrators knew something's not right and they didn't do anything, or other students knew something was not right and they didn't do anything. That was not the case here. School teachers and administrators knew something was wrong, tried to take action to help Colt, and his father, Colin, stopped it, would not allow his son to get the help he needed. And again, instead, decided to give him a weapon, the weapon that was ultimately used in the shooting. So when the jury came back with a decision, you guys, they deliberated for 2 hours. 2 hours. I want to make a note here. That does not mean they sat at a table and kind of went back and forth for 2 hours. That was 2 hours from when the judge said, okay, you can now be dismissed to go over and come to a verdict. That's when the clock started. So think of how much time it takes the jury to funnel out of the courtroom, to be seated, to have a jury foreman selected, to go over what the different charges were, because there were 27 of them, for them to come to a unanimous verdict on all 27 of them, and then to file back into the courtroom. 2 hours. 2 hours. So I think that's pretty damning and pretty telling. Colin, he did not show any emotion on his face when the verdict was read. I was actually surprised. I expected something. I was expecting, based on kind of what we saw at trial, I was expecting either a look of shock, like, I can't believe they sentenced me, or anger. I was expecting one of the two, but to have like basically no emotion and just like, stoned, cold, nothing. I didn't expect that, but nonetheless. So Colin, now he needs to be sentenced. The judge, Nicholas Prim, Primm, didn't set a date for the sentencing. He said, quote, there are a lot of people that need to be notified and have a right to appear, end quote. What a responsible judge, because in a shooting like this, yeah, there are a lot of people, because the amount of students that were killed, there are so many other students that were injured physically. The amount of students that are going to be injured mentally with PTSD for the rest of their lives, it's just, you can't count. You can't count. It's way too much. And then also with the families, think about it. The parents of these kids who were at the school and were either victims in being shot or victims where they survived and they were not injured, but they went through the trauma of, my kid is at a school right now where there's a shooting happening. It's just the amount of people touched by this and who have trauma because of this. It's just, you can't count. It's so many people. So Colin, in regards to when the sentencing hearing happens, he is facing up to 243 years in prison. So most likely he will be spending the rest of his life behind bars. So again, this is a very important trial because it's setting a precedent. Again, the Crumleys were the first piece to that puzzle, and now Colin is the next piece to that. So I kind of want to hear what you guys have to say and what you're thinking. I realize this is one of those subjects where like not everybody's going to agree because it can be very complex, and that's okay. That's okay. I just ask that everybody be respectful of each other's thoughts. So let's see what you guys are saying. K-Dog, I was hunting with a gun at 9 years old. The adults have to be in total control of any child handling a weapon. But also safety. So even if you're responsibly teaching your child how to shoot a weapon, when the weapon's not being used, it needs to be locked. It needs to be out of the hands and out of a way for somebody to access that firearm and that weapon. And that was very much clearly not done here. It was just literally handed as a gift, which blows my mind. So do you think teens should ever fire a weapon, even as a sport? I have, again, mixed feelings on it. I've fired a weapon numerous times. Just, am I good at it? Probably not. But honestly, anytime I have, I feel like it was when I've been in Texas visiting family. That was just kind of like, all right, we're going to go to the shooting range. But it was like, my aunt and uncle took it very seriously and were very much kind of showing me what needed to be done. Safety. It was a big deal. It wasn't just like, oh, let's just go and like whatever. It was like, hey, let's do this. Here's the safe way to go about. I mean, it was like a whole thing, which I appreciated because I don't have access or use those types of weapons. And there was quite a few weapons. But again, it was a different state. So I feel like the culture and the vibe of doing that in Texas would be different than doing it here where I am in Massachusetts. With that being said, I have many friends who have a license to carry here that live in Massachusetts. I'm just not one of those people. So do I think teens should ever fire a weapon, even as a sport? Teens. My first thought is to be like, it has to be very controlled and under supervision and done the right way. Do I also, like, in my older age, think that like a 16-year-old should be behind the wheel of a car? Like when you're 16, you're like, I can get my license, cool. Like when I think of like the reality of it, I'm just like, oh my God, like that's a car is a weapon in itself. And like, that scares me sometimes, like some of the younger drivers on the road. So I'm just like, oh my God, like that person's not looking, they're on their phone. But then again, there are adults that do that too. So what can you do? I think it's oh God, I know I'm giving you such a long answer, Renee, and I apologize. I think it's dependent on the community and how they feel about that. Because again, it was very different in Texas doing it with family than it would be here for me in Massachusetts. But also it depends on the teen. I think it very much depends on the teen. Like, who are you putting a weapon in the hands of? You know what I mean? There are some teenagers that are certainly way more responsible than like most adults. I'd feel comfortable with them learning to do that. There'd be adults that I wouldn't feel comfortable having a weapon in their hands. So I think it's also very person dependent, if that makes sense. Very true. I think teens are better if they grew up in a gun environment. And that's another point to it too, Tony. So that's a very excellent point that you just made. There's something to be said for that, where it's like a culturally responsible and respected thing, versus an environment where it's not. So again, I think that's kind of where I go to, like, it's dependent. The discipline it installs. Yeah, that's an excellent point, Tony. Absolutely. It's not something you can even talk about now. It's one of those damned if you do, damned if you don't, because you're going to piss off a side. And I don't mean for the answer that I gave to be wishy-washy, but I really think it is very dependent on the community culture and who the person is and who makes that determination. You know what I mean? I'm also like very much of the mindset where I'm just like, there are so many adults that legally can do it, and that scares the hell out of me. So like, it's just so tough. I was dangerous with the pellet rifle. If I ever get my record expunged, I would try to be able to carry or have a rifle. Gotcha. Renee, the first weapon that I was fully in charge of was a M16 in the Marines, but I grew up with them everywhere. I am not familiar with that type of weapon, so my apologies. I am very not aware of the differences with many of them. I would have to like literally Google and be like, oh, okay, gotcha. But again, like you just said, you grew up with them, so it was treated as a very different thing than I think people who don't have access to would view or treat a weapon. Hey, Kat. I learned as a preteen, my kids as young teens. Again, being taught responsibly, it's very different than what happened in this case. So I just really want to make that very, very clear, that this isn't like, for me, I can't speak to everybody, but for myself, this wasn't a cut and dry, you gave your child a weapon and they did. It's like, no, there were warning signs. There was this, there was that. So like all these things leading up that were very clear and presented to the father, and he chose not to get his son help. So it's like, it's just troubling. It's troubling. It's like Fight Club. You never talk about Fight Club. Oh my gosh, that's one of the best quotes ever. K-Dog, when I grew up in the rural Midwest, most everyone used weapons, but we were taught to respect it properly. That is the correct, yes. Thank you. That last part is so important, what you just said, but we were taught to respect it properly. It was just the culture and everyone knew the proper handling. Exactly, K-Dog. Exactly what you're saying. I carry sometimes. I know many people that carry. And some of the time I'm just like, wait, you carry? Like what? I had no idea. But again, when it's responsible, done responsibly. So what do you guys think of this, of Colin Gray going to trial and of Colin Gray being found guilty? Like, what do you think? And if it's something where you're like, oh, I'm not comfortable answering, don't feel you have to. I'm just very curious what you guys think about this. One of the things so I was talking with a coworker about it the other day, and for her, what she was saying is what caught her up was the father being convicted and found guilty of second degree murder. She was like, I was expecting manslaughter, but second degree was a bit tough for her. So I just want to read. My internet's a bit slow tonight, so I hope I'm not choppy. But of course, as I'm trying to, I just want to get the definition here, because when we were talking about it, me and this coworker, it was just like, yeah, it's interesting that the jury was so quick to be like, yes, that we consider that second degree. I could have saw it go either way. I knew he wasn't going to, the way the prosecution presented the case, so good and spot on. Yeah, see, it's just spinning. I can't get the degree. All right, no, I can kind of see it. So in regards to second degree, it involves malice or intent to cause harm, but lacks the premeditation of the crime, the planning, intentional act, etc. So that's kind of in a nutshell the second degree charge. Let's see. No way I could carry in California. You could save a village and they would lock you up. Yeah, state by state, man. It's very different. Like, see, like that statement you just made, Renee, like if you were in Texas, for example, again, I'm just using Texas as an example because I have family there. That statement, you never make that statement there because it wouldn't apply, right? Hey, Wolf. The irresponsible child is the parent's responsibility. Well said. Thank you. Oh, Tony Stewart. If the dad was reckless with the way his son was allowed to handle it, I agree. He has responsibility. Not sure about second degree, though. Yeah, K-Dog. Exactly. Yeah, the second degree. Like a part of me was like, we're making another example. We as a society are making another example. The Crumleys were made examples of, and Colin Gray's being made an example of here. And again, this is creating a big precedence that I think going forward, there's two sides to it. Are there going to be parents that maybe now, if their child is on a path that is really not healthy, could this be hey, you can't just willfully ignore all of these problems because if push comes to shove, you're going to be health responsible too. And you could be in jail the rest of your life. Like, is it going to touch those people for the better? Hopefully. But then again, with a charge like second degree murder, like it's one of those, I don't know. But it's very interesting the way the culture is shifting with this. It really, really is. Beckham in the chat, and I see you backstage. Education and common sense is currently lacking in the U.S. Let's go ahead and bring the man on with Mr. Beckham. If the math ain't mathin', then the math ain't mathin'. How are you tonight, Beckham? He's away from his keyboard.
What'd you say? In a nutshell.
I introduced you.
Oh. In a
What's
nutshell,
up?
Beckham's here. Yeah.
Beckham.
Can you hear me?
I said if the math ain't mathin'.
Oh.
I can hear you.
Yeah, can you hear me? Because I'm having to tweak my headset.
I can hear you fine.
Am I live or not? Just joking.
We're live, hon. You're 30 minutes late, but we're live.
Yeah, I figured you were gonna. I saw the thing earlier today, and I was like, man, Danny, you got like intro notes to last a day. So I was like, okay.
Oh, stop it. Wow, look at you looking at the doc beforehand.
I was like, that gives me time.
Oh, man. That could be a bot. I know. It could not be the real Beckham. I don't know. He's not on camera, so we don't know, folks. We don't know.
Oh, I forgot to turn the camera on. Hold on.
So let's move past
So what were y'all talking
Colin
about?
Gray.
That was in a nutshell.
There was a lot. We're just talking about the Colin Gray being found guilty, second degree murder, cruelty to children, 25 charges. So 27 in total, adding those other two for his son in a school shooting. Danny, you should give him a hard time showing up at 9:39. Tony Stewart, I give Beckham a hard time every single day of his life and is not made an impact. I don't know what to do. I
was out of
All right,
town
Beckham, if you want to come
last
on
week
camera,
and
feel
still had
free.
you on. What?
Wow. Thank you, Beckham. I would say you were missed, but I mean, that would just be a lie. So
Yeah, I don't think I was, but it's all good. When the truth keeps truthing.
No, me and Beckham, the truth keeps truthing. Me and Beckham are so excited for CrimeCon Vegas. Like, I think every single day we message each other in some way about like, and then Vegas comes up. It's gonna be so much fun. So much fun.
And the other one.
All right, so let's move on to Corey Richins. So we were in week 2 of her trial. She's the Moscow Mule mom that is on trial for poisoning her husband Corey's Moscow Mule with fentanyl. So,
Jesus, how did she grab it and get them?
Tony Stewart, I want to time you out for saying much respect. I mean, yeah, I'm under the right to give him a hard time, but you know. So week 2 of the trial. So there's some witnesses that took the stand that I didn't include in the notes because I'm like, I don't know, not really worth it. But the main gist of what I took away this week. So Eric's business partner's wife, she testified that on a vacation in February 2019, Corey told her that she felt trapped in her marriage and worried that because of a prenup, a divorce would leave her in a very bad financial position. The jury heard about a forensic examination of Corey's phone, where it revealed search inquiries regarding deleting iPhone messages, death benefit insurance payouts, and fentanyl poisoning. A forensic accountant for the prosecution, Brooke Carrington, took the stand. She was one of the stars for me this week where I was like, okay, all right. And Beckham, once I kind of go through this, I definitely want to hear what you think, because if it's one thing I have learned from Beckham through all of the years of knowing him is you learn so much about a person. What is it, Beckham? By their bank account.
Oh, yeah. Financial DNA. You can look
Yep.
at someone's bank account and analyze it. And it basically goes to their routine, tells you what they're into, tells you what, different things that, lists are more common. You can literally probably follow day-to-day activity, map it out. You can actually probably take a map, literally map out their life based on their financial DNA when you have access to financial records, and then you'll see different oddities if you see something odd in the bank account, whether it's a large deposit, large withdrawal, right? Something that doesn't belong on a day-to-day personal operations, then you're like, oh, this is different. Maybe they got a bonus, or whoa, wow, look at this withdrawal. Maybe they owed a friend some money, or they're paying for just different things. So just depending on the situation, financial analysis can be very telling on somebody's life.
So what the forensic accountant said was, quote, as of the date that Eric Richins died, Corey Richins was in financial. You're breaking up a little bit, and I can't tell. Is it me or you?
Who,
Chat, is it just me?
Breaking up how?
Okay, like you look fine on my, super weird. Okay. No, I think it's on my end. That's okay. So she was in financial distress and her financial enterprise was collapsing, but for a significant infusion of cash and capital, it would have continued to collapse. But it was imploding. Her debts and liabilities outweighed her assets. Even if she sold everything, it would not be enough to get to zero, end quote. So specifically, in March of 2019, Corey took out a $250,000 home equity line of credit. She did it in Eric's name but he didn't know she did
Oh
this.
my God, that's insane, dude. That
She
means that
started-
they had a lot. They had a lot
Mhm.
into that. They had paid a lot into the, they had a lot of equity in the home. Holy smokes.
Mhm. She started drawing on this line
Wow.
of credit in 2021.
Damn, dude.
Corey maxed out the loan and made no significant payments toward it by the time Eric died.
She maxed out the 250,000.
But there's more. During January 2021 and March 2022, so what, 14 months, Corey bounced 236 checks that totaled $360,000. This incurred $5,600 in overdraft fees.
Who takes checks still? Actually, there's a lot that people. Yeah, there's still.
Yeah.
No. There's that. I can't talk directly about it. There's a lot of fraud that happens with checks still.
No, I believe it. By March 2022, Corey was in debt about $8 million. She had been borrowing from lenders where short-term loans were given. Those came with balloon, really high payments, high interest rates, and hard penalties for non-payments. One lender even filed a lawsuit against
Okay,
Corey.
I hope it wasn't one bank. That's funny. One bank's so dumb.
One lender filed a lawsuit against Corey for non-payment of the loan. Corey was now in a position where she could no longer keep borrowing from lending companies. So she was like at rock bottom in regards to her debt.
Who goes to $250,000 in like a year?
Oh
my God. Was there a bunch of kids involved in this?
I mean, she has kids. Yeah, it's crazy. The defense, one of the things that they did, and I'm like, they did a piss poor job explaining this, was like, well, she rehabs homes. So that's part of it. When you take on a home, you take on some debt and then you flip the property and you make it back. It's like,
right. Okay.
That would explain a one-time thing. Like, no.
Well, maybe, but not 200. Dude, what was she doing? Remodeling mansions?
But it wasn't just the home equity. It was all these other bounce checks. It was borrowing from the lender after lender after lender. So it's like, no, come on.
The bankers that failed to notice a pattern, man. Holy cow.
Yeah. So the jury heard that Corey received $1.3 million in death benefits from Eric's life insurance policy. She spent about half of that in a few months trying to pay off debt. Again, she's over $8 million in debt. So financially, Beckham, what is your overall take on this? A little bit of a motive.
Yeah, of course. Big time. Huge. I mean, depending on so now
Okay, so Beckham is freezing, so it's not just me. All right, now I can see you, Beckham.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now we can. Look like you were freezing on everybody's end. All right, say that again.
Oh, I don't have bad weather. You have bad weather. I don't have bad weather yet.
All right, sorry about that. I missed what you said. Can you say that again? Kind of your overall take?
Oh, yeah. The next thing was gonna be before I kept reading the document. I was gonna say, well, then let's look at the insurance policy. How much are those worth, and to offset the debt?
Just a little fraction.
I see that. God.
So
I mean. It wasn't even a down payment towards the overall debt.
To me, the taking out the $250,000 in home equity in Eric's name, but him not being aware, was the most damning of all for all of that. Yeah, that's a tough one. But that is not all. We learned a lot more this week in trial. Corey's boyfriend took the stand and testified. Yes, her boyfriend. I was talking about this with a coworker. She was just like, how dumb is he? Like, even when they said, like, raise your hand, do you swear to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth? Like, he's like, well, what does that mean? And it's like, oh God. In a nutshell, he testified that they were in love and planning a vacation together in April 2022. They ended up no longer dating and seeing each other at the end of the year after Eric's death. In regards to his credibility, like, on the one hand, I thought he was sincere, but on the other hand, I just thought really stupid. So I'm like, does he just, I don't know. I'm not putting a lot of stock into what he says, but the fact that she had a boyfriend at the time her husband died of fentanyl poisoning, that when she took all these financial loans,
right?
The whole perfect storm. So an estate lawyer testified also this week that Eric met with a divorce attorney in October 2020. He ultimately did not file for divorce. Instead, he set up a trust for all of his assets, including the Richens family home, and made his sisters the trustee. And Corey did not know about this. So that's big. All right, this next one, Beckham, I really want your thoughts on this one. So
hold on. Wait.
All right, go ahead.
On this case, so... Okay, you're still going. My bad.
What is that in your hand? Are you vaping?
Oh, no, I don't smoke.
I didn't think so.
It's a nice little deck of cards Shelly got me.
Wow. Please don't play with that on the show, but nice nice gift.
I was just like...
So, all right. Eric's insurance policies. So Eric owned a business and he had a business partner, Cody Wright. So it is not uncommon when you are in business with somebody that you each have insurance policies on the other, so that if, God forbid, something happens, your business partner is taken care of in the business.
They don't take on debt. They don't take on that crazy or whatever. No.
Very, very common. So with that being said, insurance representatives took the stand and testified that in January 2022, there were changes made to Eric's business policy. Again, Cody had a policy that would benefit Eric Richens. Eric Richens had a policy that would benefit Cody Wright. Changes were made using Eric's login, but the email address used was Corey's. The changes done from Corey's email changed Cody's policy so that Eric wouldn't be the beneficiary if he passed away. Instead, Corey would be the beneficiary if Cody passed away. Quote, so Eric and Cody became aware of this happening. They changed it back so that Eric was Cody's beneficiary. Corey then tried to rechange it back to her, but it wasn't allowed. So Beckham.
Not very bright, man. I mean, you literally have it happening, live. You literally have everything happening live, She's trying to change it, update it. It's complete nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, really?
I know. Hey,
like,
Paulcast.
I would be like making sure every morning when I walked to my car, making sure I would look underneath the car, making sure there was no car bomb or some weird, my tires are straight. Is something is coming.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's obvious, right? I mean, it's all this little back and forth witchcraft.
It's like I feel like each thing in itself is pretty damning. And then when you add up all of it, it's like very overwhelming. Because again, we heard last week about the housekeeper that got her the fentanyl. So this week is very much focused on the financial piece of Corey and Eric. And it's not making Corey look good at all.
No, I mean, you have it right there, man, to tell you she was making moves before the major move.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean? It's just, I mean, it's right there in plain sight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's I still, so far I still stand by what I said last week. I think the prosecution is doing a very excellent job in how they are portraying Corey, as well as getting across the evidence.
Premeditated murder.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, the defense, will see what they rebut,
No,
but
not
they
with
also
this.
they don't have to. Legally, they don't have to prove their case. It's up to the prosecution to prove their case. I think the prosecution's doing a very good job.
You gotta really, I mean, if the information is there, I just put it out. Just put it out, man, like a, you know, like aces in your hand. Put it out and lay it out. Like, man, look at all the stuff she was doing. Just right now, how you told me about it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, it's again, this is just like in a nutshell what happened. You can go back if this is something you're interested in. You can find it online, like Law and Crime Court TV, all the channels. And like if there's a particular person that took the stand where you're like, you know, I want to hear more about what they have to say, go back and listen. It's absolutely fascinating. I will say how Corey is presenting herself in court is pretty much on point of what I was expecting. She's very quiet, very meek, also very non-responsive in a way where it's like, okay, you're not portraying yourself as like, because again, some people just don't know how to contain themselves in court, and just like when a victim or someone's on the witness stand, they just have this attitude, like a Sarah Boone, for example. She's not going down that route. But there are times where I feel Corey should show some type of emotion, especially when the conversation is about the kids, and she's just not. So I'm like,
okay.
Oh,
So,
okay.
In your opinion, what happened in the relationship?
I think
Has it been
financially she
following? Yeah.
got in way over her head, and
Was she in love
also
with
wanted
him?
out of the marriage. And well, not necessarily though. She had a boyfriend. I think she wanted it all and felt it would financially help her if Eric was just gone.
But it seems like she was thinking she was a very calculated person.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think she thought she wouldn't get caught in so many of the things she did and got caught.
Right. And she's not.
But Beckham, how many weeks do we talk about this where everybody who does this thinks they're the smartest one and they're not going to get caught?
I know. And like I said, if I was in the jury and you literally just put this out about changing the life and the insurance policy back and forth, I'm like, come on, man. There was a game going on already way before.
Mm-hmm. K-Dog, I don't remember offhand. I don't think she does. I'm trying to Google it, but like I'm not getting good reception on my pages.
You know what's sad, man, is if you've ever had to deal with like, you know, being responsible for a loved one's funeral and stuff like that, and there's insurance policies. Oh man, sometimes it could be a headache to get the money. Like, and you're like, there's nobody left. Like, they died of natural causes. There's nobody left. We just need the money to pay the funeral. Like, it's like they make it like so hard to get it sometimes, right?
And then in other times it's like,
and like, right. And it's like literally like, this isn't a, like, you know, an issue where there might be some red flags, like in this case, possibly where there should have been red flags.
Mm-hmm.
They still give you a hard time.
I mean, especially, you know,
So
I'm
if you
glad.
guys know what I'm talking about, if you've had the experience burying somebody, it's horrible. I don't, you know, you're dealing with the death of a family member or somebody close to you, and then you're having to deal with all the, you know, with all the other stuff that goes along with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
The organization of everything and paying for everything. It's a lot of work sometimes, man.
And you're planning that at like one of the worst times when you're trying to grieve. And
right. Yeah, and it's like, come
so
on,
tough.
just release the money. Like it's like there's no, it's not a crime or not. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. I will say I'm glad that somebody did their job when Corey tried to change the policy.
Yeah, there you go.
Eric's
Right.
business
Exactly. I was just thinking that when you first went over that. I was like, oh, somebody was doing their job, or somebody stopped it, or somebody realized that somebody was on the alert, right? Maybe they had an extra shot in their coffee that morning or that afternoon, and they were like alert about it. Whoa, wait a minute, something ain't right here. Let's put a red flag. Ding, ding, ding.
K-Dog, it seems when you're close to the situation, the red flags are hard to see. But you also might not, like, for Eric, like, he made a comment to somebody that with the previous Valentine's that he thought Corey tried to poison him. He survived, but he was very, very sick.
I don't understand
on the one hand, to make that comment, like, he must have felt something. But at the end of the day, like, who wants to believe that the person, that your spouse, the person who you're married to, the mother of your children, would really be trying to kill you?
Some people are blind by it, honestly, though, dude. I mean, I've had people, I've known people that have literally been blind to, like, stuff happening in their relationship right in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
And there's,
oh my, yeah, we
like,
all have friends that we can.
Yeah, like it's like literally happening, and they're like, you not see it? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, they have these blinders on, man, and they don't. There's no explanation. Like, I don't know. It's.
Mm-hmm.
They have these blinders on, and it's like, come on, like, and I get it. Sometimes it's easier on this side to say that, right? I get it, but I don't know, man. It's true. That's why I was like, that's why I was asking, like, what was the relationship like in this story, at least in this one.
Mm-hmm. I mean, in regards to, just to add on that, to answer you a little bit further, clearly it was one of, like, lies and deceit. Eric, I'm sure we don't have proof that Eric knew she was having an affair. We knew that he was becoming aware of all of the debt. But
there you go. That would have just told you, though.
To the extent, probably not. It's, yeah. I'm very curious how next week will go. Week 3 in trial. If it was still kind of continue on and, like, the financial look at things, or if the case will go in a little bit different direction from the prosecution. But either way, this trial, you guys, it's a trial to watch. I think it's one of those trials to watch for 2026. So we'll keep
blinders. Do not let the blinders, man.
No, Beckham is right. Beckham is right. It's always like,
love is blind, Danny. Love is blind. What's that saying?
Love is blind. Yeah.
Is that a saying?
Yep. Yep. So
maybe that's where somebody came up with it.
Yeah, Beckham, you're not going to coin that phrase. It's already existed for
decades. I'm just saying.
The math ain't mathin'. I mean, I know you didn't make that up, but it fits you. It fits you. K-Dog, she must. I
don't know about that. I just think the love was blind in this one, man, for sure.
Speaking of love being blind, in the eyes and minds of so many women and some men, because it's 2026, let's not discriminate. Let's move on to Luigi Mangione. So 2 things to talk about.
Linguini.
So this happened actually last Friday, but it didn't make it into the docket notes. But this one, part 1. But I think it was definitely worth bringing up. So the death penalty for Luigi Mangione is officially off the table. A Manhattan federal prosecutor revealed last Friday that they won't appeal a judge's ruling that took the capital punishment charges against Luigi off the table. Beckham, why are you hooting and hollering?
Well, thank you, everybody. I want to acknowledge my correctiveness on this channel.
Correctiveness.
I'm always right. Don't ever doubt me. When I say goes.
Wow. Okay, Tony, that's one of the points I wanted to talk about. I feel like as more
He is
time,
close to walking.
he is. He is.
I won't go that far, but I was gonna. I mean, I've been adamant that he wasn't gonna get the death power, and I told you for like 2 or 3 reasons why a couple of months ago. But I don't. I mean, honestly, if he literally walks, I'll be shocked. I will.
I won't.
I'll be shocked, but like for like 10 seconds, and then not be like, okay, you know what I mean? But then I'll be like you and be like, well, we saw that one coming too. Because there is a chance he walks.
Especially with the basics not being done correctly, the Miranda rights, the search of the backpack without the warrant. There's so much where I'm like, the state's case, the prosecution, it is, well, state and federal. He's being charged with both. It's just, I feel like every week it's like, this was just ruled in his favor. That was just ruled in his favor. It's a lot. It's a lot. Does he have money for good attorneys? That's what his online, it's not a GoFundMe. It's one of those, I'm blanking the name of the website.
Yeah, he's going to have the attorneys, man, no doubt.
I mean,
this is a high profile case, man. If you're an attorney, you can get on this case and you can get some money. Yeah, you want this case. And the death penalty is already off. You can use the reasoning behind that to piggyback right off of it.
Yeah, no, Beckham, actually, you make an excellent point. Like, this is one of those cases where if you're the defense attorney and you're going to really make some strides here, that's going to boost your career.
Sure.
Like, you know what? You might not get paid big on this. You'll get it on the next one.
And you'll get some money off of it. You will get paid some. I mean, he's going to have a little bit of money to pay for, but I don't know, Danny. It just depends on the judge. How does the judge see how the rules? You got to follow the rules, man. You just can't.
Yeah. I'm still nervous with, there are so many people that thought what he did was a great thing. And like, all it takes is one person to get on that jury and hold out.
Look at the Diddy.
That
with the RICO case, with the RICO stuff. That was the biggest thing right there. Where the one jury, maybe it was 2 of them, right? 1 or 2 were like, nah, they wasn't RICO stuff. The girl was into it. Yeah. Well, I don't know if it was 1 or 2, but they basically knocked off the RICO stuff on Diddy, and that's what made the judge couldn't make the judgment for the further, for more years, right? He had a gap. He could only go from here to here, right? With those charges were not implemented because of the jury for the sentencing part of it. But yeah, then that would be. I mean, it's going to be huge, during the trial. We'll see.
And that, depending, we might not be able to watch that, which, I mean, makes sense, but also like K-Dog, so what's his defense? Is he saying it wasn't him on camera? He hasn't said much.
No, we haven't gotten there. We haven't even.
He didn't even plead not guilty. He was silent.
We're not even there. We're not there yet.
Yeah, we have a while for that to come about. Yeah, Beckham, sorry, we haven't learned anything, which is very strategic. And it's the fact that they haven't really said much, but his defense is getting that tossed and that tossed.
Yeah, they can make moves. They're able to make, if the prosecution isn't ready to move, the defense can make moves, and they have been trying to make moves. And they won. They already won big.
Yep.
Because if say he has a trial, he pleads not guilty, he has a trial, he's convicted. He gets life. Maybe he doesn't even get life. He gets a reduced sentence, man. I don't know. Maybe, what is he, 24, 25?
So
even if he gets 20 years.
But there are so like I
I'm just-
keep
I don't- I
going
mean, I'm
back
just- I'm
to
just-
he has so many supporters, and all it takes is for one. Like, yes, it's both the prosecution and defense's job to kind of vet as much as you can, potential jurors. But you're not going to find everything. You're not going to find everybody. And there are pages, there's groups to like, support Luigi, and also people saying, oh, legally, if you're a juror member, here's what you do. It's crazy. It's crazy. Like Beckham said, like he could walk, and I don't think people would be terribly shocked. They might be surprised for a moment, but
really smart guy, calculated it out, carried it out, and I'm wondering, Danny, if he was on the move, that if he got caught, the police department the town he was in,
Altoona, Pennsylvania.
was he this calculated? I've been thinking about this. Was he this so smart that he basically was planned to get caught in an area where, I don't know, I'm just kind of been thinking about it. I have to go look at it deeper, but where maybe the police department would have been prone to error.
My gut is to say he wasn't that
calculated, but man, I don't know.
Because he was still trying to hide himself at the McDonald's. He had a mask on still.
Yeah, but people were still wearing masks then. This has already been almost 2 years, right? People are still wearing masks out, man.
People are still wearing masks out.
You go to the airport, some people have masks on them.
I go to like the store and people have.
Yeah. So the mask thing in public is not like, oh, why does that person have a mask? It's not like 2019, and it's not like 2019 and you have a mask on. You're like, that would be kind of weird. But you know what I mean? People still have masks on.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he's like, okay, I'm going to drive to Altoona, Pennsylvania and wait to be caught because they I don't know. Hey, Shelly. Hope you're doing good. Beckham's playing with the cards. You can hear them.
Sorry.
Yeah. So Luigi Mangione, there is another thing he's on the docket for this week. And I'm like, it's appalling. Like, let's call it like it is. It's appalling. I can see how so many people would be like, oh my God, that's so funny. Ha ha, hee hee. It's appalling. So on June 15th, a musical comedy about Luigi Mangione is coming to New York City. We've been hearing whispers about this for a while, but now it's coming to fruition. The show is called Luigi the Musical. It will premiere in New York City with a staged reading.
You're lying.
I am not lying. Beckham. Oh, wait.
What? We gotta go see this. I gotta go see this musical, dude.
Well, I've never been in New York.
When does it start? We gotta go see this.
June 15th.
Oh my God. They're already gonna. Oh my
Beckham,
God.
there's more. It's already been live. We'll get to that. If you read the docket, you would know.
Well, I did. Well, I didn't completely go through it, but
Translation. I read the first line of what this 8-page document was. So representatives of the show, Beckham, this might answer some of your questions. It's a, quote, dark comedic musical, end quote, full of social commentary. It takes a fictionalized look at the high-profile people held together at the Metropolitan Detention Center, New York City's only federal jail, end quote. The creator of the musical, Nova Bradford, said, quote, Luigi the Musical uses comedy to bring deeper questions to the surface. Why did this case garner the reaction that it did? And what happens when people stop trusting their intuitions, end quote. This is not the first premiere of the show. Beckham, it's already being performed in San Francisco where it is sold out.
Oh, dude.
There's a mixed review from critics.
This case is gonna go like he's gonna get even more support depending on how the show is actually written and played out, acted, whatever. It's just gonna be more for put the case further out front.
I just like one. I would never go and support this. Let's be honest. In regards to it happening in San Francisco, it's far enough away that, again, it's still atrocious. I do not support it, but I'm like, it's far enough away where it's like, it didn't impact your community. New York is where this shooting happened in broad daylight, and they're going to put a musical in that area about this. It just, to me, it's like, are you kidding me? Like, are you kidding me? I hope there's riots and like people picketing this because like but don't get me wrong. I'm sure there are a large group of people, supporters and women who are a fan of Luigi who are going to go to this.
Why do you think it got started in San Francisco?
I don't know. I didn't deep
time.
dive it as much as I should, to be honest.
Prime spot. You're right. Women in San Francisco.
It's just I don't know.
They're getting him. They're garnering more eyes. They're garnering more momentum behind him. I think so.
Shelly saying it's tacky for sure. Yeah,
I would just want to see how it's written. That's what I want to. You can just give me You can give me the transcribe.
Hi, James.
Or just give me the script.
I'm sure. Okay, once it starts, Beckham, I'm sure there will be reviews online, and we will discuss. We will discuss. I've never been to New York. I would never go to New York and be like, all right, I'm here for the first time. Let me see the Luigi Mangione musical. Like, absolutely not. But I want to hear what people say about it. And I'm hoping what people are saying about it is like, this should not have happened. Like, I hope it just rips it apart.
Hey, I can see why it's San Francisco, though.
Why?
Because it's a very, it's liberal. Women there, and you're hitting the target that would be supporting him.
That's one way. I mean, yeah, that's one way to look at it for sure. K-Dog is saying this is absurd. I remember hearing whispers about there's going to be a Luigi Mangione musical.
Whispers in the dark.
But like, it's coming.
You heard whispers about this, actually?
Oh God, for months and months and months and months.
About an actual play or a show?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't. You never said anything. I didn't. This is the first time I ever hear about it. That's why I was like, "Wow, what?"
I know, Shelly. I know. Everybody says that. How have you never been to New York? I'm like, I know. I really thought. Like,
yeah, Danny, you live like an hour away from New York.
I'm not an hour away from New York.
Dude, you just take the 8 and you're there.
I could get in my car and go. It'd be several hours.
Exactly. Take the train.
Or what do you call it?
The 8. Or no, wait, the T.
The 8. I have so many mixed feelings about this in regards to the way that representatives of the show and the creator is like spinning it. Like, we're going to take a fictionalized look. Like, no, be honest. Let's call it like it is. And like, oh, this is comedy is for deeper questions, bringing things to the surface. Why did this case garner the reaction it did? You're part of why this case is garnering the reaction that it is. Like, it's just,
I completely understand San Francisco being its bearing home base. I get it. And I believe it's gonna work there.
It has. It's already happening and is sold out.
Hey, you know what? Whoever did the research to do that and started it away from New York, just to kind of get a feel for it, you nailed it. San Francisco.
Like, I know it's very different. But like, I'm just off the top of my head trying to think about some very recent, like if they're in Boston, because sometimes like off Broadway or some Broadway shows will come to like the Boston area and perform. Imagine if something opened here. Off the top of my head, I'm just thinking like about the Boston Marathon bombings, like the outrage that would happen.
I think that's a little different.
Still, okay, so let's take it back to something where it's like, okay, we're far enough removed.
Think about Robin Hood-ish.
I still feel like people in the area would be like, what?
If you're going to compare it to something that has a Robin Hood feel to it, to the story. Because that's what that undertone of this story really does have. I'm sorry, but you have to admit that. That's why it works in San Francisco.
Yeah, Shelley, that's what I was thinking.
Target.
It's still a terrorizing act. Like a shooting happened in the middle of New York.
No, I disagree. I mean, I see that, but at the same time, there's a Robin Hood effect to this case.
K-Dog, I feel most people are normal and think this is pathetic. The media drives this stuff to get reactions and generate interest. Money follows.
No, I understand what they're doing, and they hit the nail on the city to start it in San Francisco politically, and they hit the right demographic.
Okay, that's an excellent point, because like depending on how it goes in New York, I would be very curious of the demographic of people who are going. But
no, again, I get no. Hey, this is a brilliant idea. We talked about no, I'm telling you, we talked about what it means, the support he gets, the women, I'm pretty sure the majority of his supporters are women. You know, we've already talked about all that. His popularity, you want more push, and it has a Robin Hood effect to this case. You know that. You know why. You know tons of people get effed over by insurance companies.
Oh, 100%.
And like all of that. People die, and they could have been saved but they couldn't because they had the insurance companies didn't pay for whatever. Dude, we can go all. That's a whole other show. So there is the truth of the matter is there's a Robin Hood undertone to this case, and he's basically fighting for all the little people. And all the people that have been mistreated by insurance companies, by the medical, by pharma, by big pharma, all of that. And you know that's what it is.
I think
it's one of those, you mess with one of mine, and I'm gonna come get you.
I think that is accurate for some.
It has that undertone. I'm saying it has that undertone.
I agree. I think there's a lot of layers to this. And
sure. Well, yeah. And I told you why, and I told you months ago why he was not going to get the death penalty. And the judge, you know what? The judge, I mean, hey man, the judge was like, you know what? I'm going to do this. Let's get this off the table. Get the pressure off of the death penalty off the table. Because it works. It's easier to maintain. It's easier to kind of like, hey, let's get this trial going, whatever. That pressure, that the main mark on this case is off the table now. That pressure's off everybody. It's off the prosecution. It's off of me. That political component is off the table. Let's just worry about the actual murder. And then they can go, and then they can move forward. I told you this months ago why it was going to happen, and it did happen.
You did. I won't say you're right, but you said.
No, I was right to the T. But I'm saying, hey, brilliant for bringing the kids support. and I'm talking from that side of it, you know, and this was a brilliant idea. And to see what kind of energy it brings, to see how well it's going to do, let's get it across the country, away from where it happened, away from all of that, and let's take a chance and hit this demographic. And it's hit a home run apparently. And when I saw San Francisco, I knew immediately why they chose San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant. Whoever's responsible for it, actually.
Yeah, I mean,
you talked a high game on Karen Reed,
mm-hmm.
and all the antics they were doing. This is just part of that. I'm telling you it is, and I'm telling you it's going on behind.
I think it's a little different, but you're entitled.
You're just on the other side of it.
No, I mean, the reviews of what has premiered already in San Francisco have been very, very strongly mixed. But at the end of the day, they're selling out.
Attention's attention.
Exactly.
Hey, man, you're not winning if they're not talking about you, right?
Yeah, that is true. That is true. New York this happened, I'm very curious what the response will be there. And I'm like, please, society, don't disappoint me. Like, have some morals, but I don't know.
You know who he's gonna win with?
Who?
Hot girls for the mayor.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. Mm. They don't shovel snow, but they sure like to vote a certain way. Just wait.
We'll let that's a story for another day. K-Dog says it's not all the insurance companies, though. Government corruption is the main thing to blame. You are 100% correct. Insurance companies, government are all greedy. 100%. Look who New York City voted for mayor. Again, everybody's entitled to their opinion. The mayor is definitely the new mayor of New York has gotten
hot girls for linguini. Hey, hot girls for linguini's coming up. Shirts are being printed as we speak.
That's why you were late. You were printing the shirts.
I'm gonna make some money off this deal myself. I'm over here talking up the idea on Danny After Dark. I need to be getting my cut.
Speaking of you need to make some money because did you run out of your candle supply? There's no candle lit in the background.
Oh, I got a different kind.
Mm.
There's no flame. Shelly brought me this dish where you turn it on, and it like turns on from the bottom.
Okay.
And there's no flame anymore. Like you don't have to light it anymore. It just comes from the bottom.
Do you have it going right now?
I think I do. Hold on. I thought I did. But you can't see it light up though.
No,
I'm telling you can't.
I'm not arguing.
Yeah, you don't see it. There's this little light that shows you it's on.
Oh, okay. Shelly says so it lasts longer.
Yeah.
I put them away and got him a candle warmer instead.
Whatever it's called. It's a plate thing.
I will have to get him some little lights so that we can all be entertained. Shelly, that's the thing. That's the thing. That's what we're missing here. All right. So, Beckham, let's
what you thought was not going to be a great idea, it became a great idea.
Again.
Say it.
It pains me to say you're right, so let's move forward. The last thing on the docket for tonight, Nancy Guthrie. Beckham, are you up to date with what's happened this week?
A little bit. I mean, I think this case has run its course. All the media is gone. I think News Nation is still there. Our guy, what's his name? Brian Enton, the guy that we saw at CrimeCon. He's there. Podcasters are doing a little bit of here and there with X, retired people. I think there's a couple of YouTubers. that are there still, but that's it, man. There's nobody. Everybody's gone. They remember. Were you here? Was it like 2 weeks ago that they started putting signs and stuff like blocking them, and they couldn't be there, so that everybody just left.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that? Was that a couple
Yeah.
of weeks? Yeah. So everybody just took off. Hold on. Have you been keeping up with it?
So yeah, the little bit that I have here in the notes. So Savannah went to her work studio to visit her colleagues this week. She told them she's holding on to her faith, and like all of her colleagues, or most of their colleagues, I should say, I don't want to speak for all of them, have made statements about Savannah visiting and whatnot. I pulled this one thing. So on Tuesday, the Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos believes that investigators are, quote, definitely closer, end quote, to identifying a suspect or suspects.
Right.
Nanos said that a dedicated team from his department's homicide unit is working with the FBI and investigating the case under the presumption that Nancy Guthrie's still alive. He said they're continuing to pursue thousands of leads. I think the investigators are definitely closer, is what he's saying.
That was Tuesday, right?
That was Tuesday.
Okay, so as of now, a couple of major shifts, the tips are gone.
Mm-hmm.
There's no more tips coming in. Now, you do have a lot of the, and what I mean by they're not coming in, you know what I mean? They're not like they were coming in, right?
Right.
And they probably already exhausted a lot of the major leads. Working them, the teams are still working, shifts, big time shifts, right? That's kind of what I've gotten. I think I heard that the specialized units have been given the go-ahead not to have to answer to anybody, but themselves, basically, if that makes sense.
No, it does.
So they're able to just kind of maneuver and do their work without having to report to anybody, kind of thing, which gives them more. It's faster. Okay, we know a lot of the DNA didn't hit, right? We already know that.
Yeah.
Did you cover this last week? A little bit.
DNA thing, I don't think.
Yeah. There hasn't the gloves. Nothing hit. There was no matches in CODIS. For some of the DNA, a glove found 2 miles away was traced to an unrelated local restaurant worker and ruled out as connected. That was, I think, Monday. I mean, that was this week. I think. So that was what I was talking about. Last week was the DNA. Remember, at the home was analyzed for genetic genealogy. But the mixed samples are that's a major challenge. So that's all. Remember that was a dead end last week, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see this. They still have the $1 million rant. The $1 million payout award is still there. Now, here's something that has been kind of gathering steam this week, and that is. Do you know what SATG stands for?
No.
So what SATG stands for is a criminal group, and this goes back to like last year, and it kind of goes back to why ICE is doing their thing, without getting political. But what it stands for is South American theft groups. Okay. Now they're very highly organized. They're transitional criminal networks responsible for a surge in residential burglaries across the U.S., especially in 2024, 2025. Just in Houston, there huge arrests were made in January with a group about like 8. Okay. These groups were talked about in 2024, where some of the, part of these groups were like taking over apartment buildings, things like that. They're they're comprised of individuals from Chile, Colombia, Ecuador, and Peru. They often target, of course, affluent neighborhoods, like one of the couple of NFL football players' homes have been burglarized, right? And they were able to catch them, and they were part of like this faction of theft groups. And then like, and just real quick, some numbers here: over 60 burglaries linked to these groups in major cities in California, Michigan, and Florida. And I just talked about Houston, right? Like in January. So, and also yesterday and today, it's been talked about that they're finding out with like the Google thing and the online thing that the neighbor's camera system went down for a time period. Okay, so police are now on that where they noticed a time gap of pause, and that takes sophistication to pull that off. Okay, so if it was during the burglary time frame, then that's sophistication that kind of proves that this group knows what they're doing. I think there's been established that it was probably more than one, right? That was a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And so it's probably more than one. You and I believe we talked about it could have been 3, maybe 4. So they're working on this time frame of lapse in time where the camera stopped working, stopped recording. Like it just pauses. It's there, but it pauses. So it's tricky, right? Like, oh, nothing's going on in that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, there's nothing walking by. It's just it's the dead screen. So if that's the case, man, they might have something there. I'm not sure that you gotta let that kind of work out a little bit more. It's gonna take a little bit more investigation. But as of right now, this thing, man, this is real. It's a very confusing case. I think it's 34 days. It's going to be 35 days.
Mm-hmm.
FBI was back at her house yesterday, like a unit of three agents were walking around. Nothing today, really, but we talked about the cartel, right? We talked because of how close the border is. Well, hello, if it's a group of SATG, how do you think they got into the country? The border, right? They have to have communications at the border, and they have to have pass-alongs at the border. So it might not necessarily. When we were talking about the cartel theory, that was a hot theory a few weeks ago, but it's more realistically, it could be one of these groups. Especially if especially if it's true about the pause and the camera. Now, could have been an insider still? Could be. They had to have known. Well, you know what I mean. They had to have known parts. Just the timeline of everything. They might have. Somebody close to her. It could still be. Yeah, it was something like that. A Wi-Fi block or something. So it could. I mean, could it still be? I mean, the sheriff said the family's been cleared, but I mean, have they really been cleared?
The FBI also said last Friday they were doing a final sweep of Nancy Guthrie's home, but they're back again.
They're back this week, right? Yeah, right.
So
they're back. What, Wednesday, right? I think it was Wednesday when they were back.
I forget the day.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. It's confusing. Could it still be somebody in the circle, in the inner circle family? I mean, it's all it could always be somebody in the inner circle of family. And what's wild to me, man, and it's what everybody is harping on, is the sheriff has not given any updates.
Him not speaking right now is the only smart thing that man has done.
I don't know what to say. What?
He should have, this not speaking thing, he should have done that at the beginning.
Right. Yo, you're saying he should have flipped it around, like been like, don't say nothing for like the first week, maybe week and a half, and then just kept going on camera every day. I don't know, man. That it's really, he's really being called out in circles of law enforcement with competence issues. That's all I'm gonna
On
say.
several of my podcasts I listen to by people who work it. Yeah.
That's it. That's all I got.
No, and again, that's like one of the things, Beckham, I feel like we talk about all the time. It's like for every one step forward in this case, there's like 10 steps back. It's just nothing is adding up. And I will say there was, you said something, was it, you weren't on last week, so the week before, because I'm not familiar with crossing into Mexico. And it's because people are like, oh, you know, other podcasts with professionals have said it's so easy.
It's so easy.
It's getting back in that's more difficult, but getting over the border into there, easy. Could easily have been done. And I didn't quite know that. You had mentioned it, and then hearing it on the other shows, I'm like, oh damn, Beckham was right. Look at that.
You need a world phone to communicate. You know what I'm talking about? The ones with the antennas that are, I just call it a world phone, like the big ones with the, you need one of those. But I mean, you have to have it. You're going to do your cell phone. Like when I was by the cartels 2 or 3 years ago, I had to change plans so my phone could work. And then this last time it was just a quick in and out and my phone did not work in Mexico. But
interesting.
If you're going to be doing some kind of business like that, you need either your cell phone to have international to be able to go back and forth, right? Or you need like I said, I make a joke about it. It's a world phone. The ones with the antennas, you know what I'm talking about? Satellite phone. Yeah, I know. I just call it a world phone. It's a joke. But you need a world phone to get through. You should have one of those. But of course, it's more trackable, right?
K-Dog said, Sheriff Grady Judd gives great case updates. Thank you for sharing that.
That's really been the whole tone of the week, man. Like everybody under their breath talking about this sheriff guy is sure should win Sheriff of the Year.
And I'm sure he's portrayed so well in that television show.
Oh, I completely forgot about that. That's right.
I have told so many people about that.
I forgot about it. Yeah, you're right.
I heard another podcast reference it. And I was
you broke it, Danny. It was broken on this
we
podcast.
Did. We as in you. I mean, I will keep you guys posted on this case. I mean,
remember, guys, keep this in the back of your head. These SATG groups, South American theft groups is what they're calling them. It's been a hit this week, but we talked about it already, sort of when we were talking about potential cartel. But you still got to get to the border, and communicate somehow with somebody. All the Spanish is different, but still the same. If that makes sense.
It does. I know exactly what you're referring to. Oh man. I've
dealt with these groups in Guatemala before. Yeah, man, they'll rob you and kill you. So and like I said, the Spanish is very similar. So if your Spanish is really, really good, you can maneuver, or you can communicate.
It was interesting that you also said, because I was trying to remember the date. Like this has been over a month.
34 days. It'll be, what did I just say? 35 days tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think today was the 34th day. Man, I'm sorry, but I just hate to admit, I don't think she's.
No, I mean, statistically speaking. I mean, even after week 1, it was like, oh, this isn't good. And like kidnapping, you don't do that for this long. You just don't. This is nothing about this case is normal.
The people on the camera, the 2 people on the camera, the 2 guys on the camera, because they're 2 different guys. There's another thing. They're very calm. And that's either experience or familiarity being familiar with the area.
Familiarity.
There you
Damn
go.
it! Familiarity. There we go.
Right. So
Yeah, K-Dog makes no sense. That's yeah.
oh no, there is something,
Strategic silence after he said calm, good job, babe. I don't know what that's referring to. I missed it. The sheriff and the detectives and the FBI are clueless.
Well, the FBI had their hands tied before they got there, and they were called in later. Like, it's not on them. They're doing it. They're working, man.
They came into a rough situation.
Yeah, they did. Remember, and they had their hands tied even while they were there. They were not. They were not free to work. Like they had, But now I believe now they do. So it's almost like you're playing catch up, man. But
yes,
that's hard. It's not easy.
And the crime scene had already been released.
And the crime scene's
and
been contaminated.
Resealed,
it's contaminated. We just say it. Just say it.
Yeah, they walked in on like the shittiest way.
And if they remember, and we've talked about this, and even your boy with the hair talked about it on his show.
Weber?
Like 3 weeks ago, right? A long time ago on his show, he was adamant about, hey, even if they have a suspect and they arrest somebody, boom, how all the whole everything's contaminated. I mean, all the evidence stuff, it might not stick.
Oh, 100%. It might a judge or a prosecution try to find a way to like wiggle it in, sure, but like we all know the crime scene was contaminated very early on. Multiple times it was sealed and then released.
Dude, Brian Henson walked onto the doorstep and their blood the stain was still there.
Yeah.
We didn't do it immediately. He might have been like 4 or 5 days in, but still it should have been sealed off, like completely sealed off. Hey man, at least the crime scene at Cielo Drive had police detectives sleeping sleeping overnight on the thinking somebody was going to get on the property. They were thinking somebody was going to, you couldn't just put police officers at the front. Like they thought somebody was going to jungle gym into the property. I will always think that was funny.
Of course you will. The strategic silence is difficult to pull off. I still say be wary of police, feds, etc. Not my heroes. I mean, Tony, I'm from Boston. I mean, you want to talk about corruption? I mean, I know you'd never heard of the Karen Reed trial, but still. All right, so Shelley, okay, when he was talking, he said, calm down.
Yeah, I do it on purpose.
Beckham thinks he's so smart.
Tip my hat to the young lady. The young lady for the comment.
Yeah, it's.
Do you know who they needed to bring in? No offense.
Columbo?
I mean, you can't, but you should have. They could have. They'd bring in the Texas Rangers. Like, seriously.
I love how I guess Columbo.
No, dude. Columbo would have solved it. Give him 3 days. He's got it.
Oh, the Texas Ranger? Yeah, they are. They don't
real life. You bring the Texas Rangers in, and we'll see. Because the Texas Rangers, I guarantee you, have spotters at the border. They have people they talk to at the border. They have people that they communicate with at the border. They have all those. They have CIs. Yeah, they have all that kind of stuff, right? I mean, they have what you needed probably to solve this case. They have the investigative techniques. They have the investigative skill. And I'm telling you, it does. Experience matters.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Not only technology, but experience does matter.
What was it the other day? I jokingly asked.
I can't imagine being. I couldn't do it, man. I mean, I just remember I told you could give me a sheet of walking onto a fresh murder scene, and I would be you. I could follow the sheet, but. Or you know what I mean? You follow direction, but that's not gonna. You need experience, man. I mean, you know.
And not every situation's the same. So Absolutely. Very funny, Tony Stewart. Very funny.
That's true. It is true. Baseball's about to start. Everybody's in spring training.
I'm not gonna lie. I really thought at this point, like covering this case with you, like I really was thinking one way or another.
Well, last week I was calling it a cold case, and then people were like, "No, it's not a cold case yet. No, don't stop calling it." Media has stepped away from calling it. The media was calling it a cold case like last week, like early on last week. Then all of a sudden, I bet all the networks like, "Shh, don't say that because we need the views. We need their, we need, you know what I mean, or whatever." Because if you start calling it a cold case, if you start calling it a cold case, it's gonna be just boom.
He interrupts me every second of every day. So Shelly, I'm just used to it.
Can you ban her?
I'm sorry. Say what? Wow. You let a friend come with you to CrimeCon to help at the booth, and now he thinks he's like Mr. Boston, the king of CrimeCon. Like
I need a key to the city.
Yeah. You know what? Talk to my buddy Omar. When he gives you the Boston tour, be like, Omar, bro. Hook me
up. I can't wait for the Boston trip. We can't wait for it. We're excited.
I'm fully aware, and I'm mentally preparing with my therapist how to deal with Beckham for like potentially a week. But yeah, I didn't think this. I thought we had some resolution with this case. Finally, someone else giving Danny. Tony, what do you mean finally?
Thank you, Tony.
Since the day I met Paul and Beckham, they both have done nothing but give me a hard time.
Oh, you guys should see Danny and Paul go at it daily.
I have my ways I go after each of you. The way I like go off on him, I wouldn't do that. It's like you guys are very different personalities, and like I got to go with what's most effective. No, don't get me wrong. Beckham has heard me yell at him. Did he tune me out? Probably, but I've attempted to yell at him. I would pay to see it. One of these days, I'm going to write a tell-all book, what it was really like behind the scenes working with Paul and Beckham over on the Manson Saga show. Yeah. No. Still in therapy over it. Do
they know how the night that we met, Paul was we were on Paul's channel, and Paul was like playing song requests, and you were like, "Oh yeah, I'm a fan of Fleetwood Mac," and Paul without even like hesitation or not, because there was there was a few people up, right?
Yeah, it was pandemic days when people just hung out.
It was like about 6 people up on the thing, and I was we were up there, and Danny was being like all nice, like, "Oh yeah." Paul's like, "Yeah, who's next? Anybody wants a song or whatever?" And Danny was like, "Oh, I'm a Fleetwood Mac fan, and can you play whatever song?" And Paul somehow like shifted and started talking about something else, but he smoothly did it so that we would not play Fleetwood Mac. Somehow got around it. It would play other music, and like I was sitting there and I'm like, wait a minute, didn't Danny, in my head, I'm like, I think Danny asked for a song like 45 minutes ago. He hadn't played it yet. And everybody was just talking about other stuff and other songs, but he kept playing other songs, but not yours. And he
5-6 years later.
And then I was like, Danny, I was like, Paul, I think Danny requested so-and-so's song like 45 minutes ago. And he was like, and he was like, I was like, "Oh shit, I'm sorry, I forgot." And then it was like he was about to play it, and then something else happened, and we started talking about something. The song never got played.
No, so Paul just came in. So Tony Stewart said, finally, someone else giving Danny a hard time. And I said, no, Paul and Beckham have been giving me a hard time since like the moment I met both of them.
But Paul didn't. It was like so. Paul like so transitionally smooth moved away from playing the song, and I don't think he ever played it. Did he? I don't think he did.
No, he has never.
Every time, like even after I brought it up, I'm like, Paul, it's been like 45 minutes. I think Danny requested the song. He's like, oh shit, my bad. I'm sorry. And then all of a sudden he starts talking about something else and they never played it. Just because he hates Fleetwood Mac.
I still remember the one live Paul did. We were all like on, again, it was the pandemic. We were all like shut in and Paul was just, we were all on and just hanging and chatting. And Paul was just, it was so boring. But I stayed on camera and I just shopped on Amazon the whole time Paul was live. Oh my God. I was like, wow, that was such a boring show.
Somebody said Paul has a built-in Fleetwood Mac blocker.
Yeah, Paul, yeah, the good old days. Oh, and then the Paul.
And he still hasn't played it, dude. He still never played it.
No. And I've been nothing but a good friend, and I can't even get him to play me a song. I mean, he doesn't do the live shows.
Oh, that was so funny, dude. Oh yeah, he used to do morning lives.
No, he sure doesn't.
I don't think people know that he would wake up like at 4 a.m. and be like, or not 4, but like 6 a.m.
No, before, because I would be on my way to work.
Yeah, so it would be 4 o'clock his time, and he would be doing lives. It still did not ever play the song for you.
No, he didn't. He would take song requests in the morning. He would rant and complain. And I would always, I'd be on my way to work and I would message him, get off YouTube, because I knew where it was going to go. And Sunday mornings too. Yeah, he did. Loved Paulcast drive time hits. Yeah.
Oh, man.
A few times I recommended songs to Paul and he played them. Like, he's such a music snob, though. He's such a music snob.
Hey, he at least did play me that one time. He played Duty Brown.
I couldn't stand when you would request that. God.
By Luke Skywalker.
Duty Brown. Play Duty Brown. It's like,
oh my God. Duty Brown, please. Duty Brown.
And I'd always ask Paul to play Gojira, and he never did. Sad. Very, very sad.
Paul played Duty Brown over Fleetwood Mac.
I know, what the hell, man? Dude, man, hello. Have Paul play You Oh Well with Peter Green. Been burgering your conversations a while. Time to say hello. I am the Dude Man. Long time no see. Hello. Been burglarizing your conversations for a while. I love that line. That's so funny. Hope you're doing well, hun. Oh my goodness. Paul's music channel, anything but Fleetwood Mac. Yeah, like, see, like, I love how, like, we have a good mix of, like, newbies and, like, maybe people that were OGs back on for the Paulcast show. Yeah, we need this type of show at Danny's place sometimes, and Danny making supper for all of us. Tony Stewart, in your dreams.
Oh, man, that was funny. Hey, I was trying to be a good friend and be like, oh, Paul, Danny requested a song 45 minutes ago. He's like, oh shit, man, I'm sorry.
You did.
I'm so sorry. Then all of a sudden, it's like the conversation went another direction, and you never got it. And then another song got played, and another song got played, and another song got played.
Yeah, the good old days. Yeah, I should have realized then what a shit friend Paul would be. He's like
that's in that scene in that movie where the Jack Black he has a vinyl record and the customer wants to buy it so bad, and he's like, no, I don't feel like selling it today. Maybe come back next week. He doesn't sell it to the guy.
Oh God!
What movie was that?
I couldn't tell you. Creed's back together. Seriously? Oh God.
How do they sound?
What
Was that
was
Creed? Creed song.
Okay, sorry, Beckham, I didn't hear you.
I'm not doing it again.
That's all right. I'll just go back and screen grab it. That was amazing. Back to the crime talk. We're done with the crime talk for tonight. No, I would not have let us go this derailed if we still had more in the docket. No, we're good. We're good tonight. Unless you want to discuss the crime
with
of
arms,
Paul
yeah, there you
not
go.
playing Fleetwood Mac.
With arms wide open. Thanks, Paul. Thanks for that save.
If anybody would like to screen grab that and create your own Beckham customized ringtone. Wow. Wow. I have not seen this clip, Shelly.
Oh, dude. Oh, so I went with Shelly's daughter. We went to go get some cookies around the corner of this neighborhood. This up rich area of Houston, uppity neighborhood. And all of a sudden, I'm sitting there, I'm like, holy crap, look, it's the, what was it called? It was called the no, it wasn't called the Rainbow. It was called the Unicorn Disco Club. And I'm like, oh man, that's kind of a cool, let me go check it out. It was only 7:00. So it was open, but not open. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So they had some like neon lights around it. It was interesting. It was funny. It's called the Unicorn. It was called the Unicorn Disco Club.
Interesting.
Not sure what kind of atmosphere it turns into about midnight, but it was an interesting name.
One that you're too old to go to is probably my guess.
For sure.
All right, everyone. So let's wind this down. I have a busy day tomorrow ahead of me. I mentioned to you guys my sister's getting married soon, and there's a lot of stuff coming up. So stuff tomorrow, and then bridal shower coming up a couple weeks. It's just, oh my God, so busy, but it is what it is. All right, folks. Well, thank you for joining for this week's True Crime and Chill. Beckham, thank you for being here as always. If you guys missed it, Renee, who we know and love, has her own YouTube channel. So everybody go, I pinned it here. Go give her a sub. And yeah, follow along her videos. Leave a comment too. Be like, hey, Renee, it's it's Beckham from the chat. It's Paul from Paulcast or, whatnot. Let's give her those subscribers. And again, algorithm stuff, like comment on her video always helps. And if you guys have a channel yourself, please, put a link.
Come on, Paul, with the rainbow and unicorn, really?
Oh, it's so ridiculous. He's ridiculous. And everybody have a good weekend. Stay tuned for next week. Definitely interview on next Thursday with Kylie from Primetime Crime. True Crime and Chill next Friday. May or may not have another live interview on Tuesday. So that's dependent. Stay tuned. I will keep you guys posted. If it doesn't happen next Tuesday with the girl who I'm coordinating with, then we'll probably do it the following week. So lots of things. Have a good evening, everybody. And remember, until next time, we don't live in darkness. Darkness lives in us. Bye, everyone.